You write something and you're like, I'm never going to show this to anyone. And then you do, and you're like, that feels amazing. And then you're like, well, I have to act it. Like it was a journey, but I did write her with my voice, I guess, in mind.
There's a reason, even if I can't see it, that I'm alive.
So I wanted to talk to you first about how you kind of first sat down to write this script.
Well, I really wanted to write a film about healing and trying to heal, really, more than healing. And, sort of the kind of life-saving friendship that gets you through a really hard time, and pose the question, is it possible to make a film with this kind of violence in it without the violence in it? My goal was to decenter seeing that violence and bring forward the joys that feel like rebellion against the trauma and finding ways to find meaning in life again.
Did you write it with the intention of playing her?
Well, you write something and you're like, I'm never going to show this to anyone. And then you do, and you're like, that feels amazing. And then you're like, well, I have to act it. Like it was a journey, but I did write her with my voice, I guess, in mind. And then I was like, I'm playing her. I kind of just declared it. And it was cool because no one really fought me on it. So I was like, okay, let's go. Like, I guess we'll do that. It was good. I knew I had to, but I'm glad no one fought me on it.
Well, and no one fought you on another element of this. In fact, you were actually encouraged to do it, to direct this film.
Yes. I met Barry before I wrote the film, and I used to make like comedy videos online. It was a different time. And I would make like 50-second videos online. Barry had seen them and he said, that's filmmaking. And I was like, no way, what do you mean? And he was like, it is, you're making all these choices. I think that planted a little seed in me, and I went away to write this, and they were the first people I sent it to because I felt like they saw me in this way that felt more aspirational. And then I said, oh, we should probably find a director because that's insane to try to do everything. And they were like, go think about it. So I spent 2 months thinking about it and quickly realized I desperately wanted to direct it. I just had a lot of imposter syndrome that I had to work through. Yeah.
It's a big thing to do, but when Barry Jenkins is telling you that...
You take a second look.
Yeah, maybe I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, he always said to me, and this is something that I think is such a gift, he said, I'll give you my opinion, and other people will too, but you have to make the film you want to make. This is your film, and we'll tell you how we see it, but it's your film. And that responsibility is very intense and also beautiful. And and Naomi, who plays Liddy in it, sort of did the same thing. Like, she had no reason to believe I could direct. And the first day, I remember I turned to her because I was like obsessed with waiting for a train to go by during the shot. And I was like, I don't know if I should do that. And she said, whatever you want, we can do whatever you want. The idea that someone believes in you before you've proven that you can do something, it's the kind of thing you hold on to forever. And it allows you to feel safe while you're making your work, which makes better things.
And that's that exact type of, safety and confidence and belief that you also needed to have together on screen. That
Totally.
To make that relationship feel so real. What was it about Naomi that made you want her to be your Liddy?
I always said Agnes is the moon and Liddy is the sun. So we're just looking for our sun. And she's such a compelling, dramatic actor. And then I met her and she was so goofy and funny and warm. And I remember leaving and being like, God, I hope she wants to be my friend, but I don't think I'm cool enough. And we read together, and that was when everything just clicked into place. It was wonderful, and we scheduled the friendship scenes in the first week so we could kind of get to know each other through the making of it.
This film really is filled with tons of great actors. I mean, of course, you have Lucas Hedges, you have John Carroll Lynch. How did this kind of ensemble come together?
I'm still pinching myself. Like, I wrote people letters. I wrote Lucas a letter, and they've been a fan for so long. And John, I also wrote a letter, and he called and he was like, I'm going to do the movie. I was like, oh shit, okay. Something very intense about people you've admired, reading something and understanding it. Like, for as many times as someone doesn't understand it, to have someone say they want to do it. I mean, it's such a small film that their participation has to be like a passion project. It has to be because they believe in it. So hearing that from like the guy who played the Zodiac killer, that meant a lot. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about The Bad Thing and how you crafted this scene, because it's stuck with me since the moment I saw it. This idea that we see Agnes go into the house and we then just see time pass. We don't see again until she comes out. How did you come up with that framework and what you wanted to show of this horrific moment?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the film for that scene where she goes in and she doesn't come out. Like, the script is just Agnes goes in, we wait, we wait, we wait. Agnes emerges, and I always knew we were never going in the house, but I think a big reason is because I wanted us to. Well, first, I don't want anyone in the audience's body to be put through the pain of watching that if it doesn't feel necessary. Like, I spent a lot of time seeing things that feel often very difficult for my body to sit through, and it kind of turns my body off and shuts me down. And I wanted to give people the chance to understand that something devastating was happening without seeing it. And I was very set on the idea that we're not ahead of her. Like, I didn't want us to know what's happening when she doesn't know yet. It felt kind of cruel. And I liked the idea that there was this feeling of doom, but we don't totally understand. And because she doesn't either. And it's not until she tells Liddy in her own words, when she chooses to, that we find out what happened. And that felt kind to her. And also, in real life, we don't get to be behind the door. Like, we hear what happened and we have to believe people. And I liked that the film believes her, and there's no question of that. And we don't need to be inside to know, because we don't get to do that in real life. So there's a million reasons, but yeah, it's that was an important moment.
When you think about this journey and what it's meant to you as a creative, as a person, how do you kind of conceive of like what Sorry Baby has been?
I wrote this film about a time when a person decided to do something to my body without my permission. That's very confusing and mind-bending. Like, it's obviously very sad, but it's very surreal. In the making of the film, like, being able to direct myself as an actor, there was this real sense of joy in being able to say, well, my body goes over there, I'm choosing that. Like, no one's choosing where I go. And then this whole team of people are like, yeah, we'll light for that spot. We'll make sure that, like, the books in the back look like books. Like, it's like this rallying of support around that decision of where I go on my own terms. The crazy euphoric thing about being an actor is the moments when you have no idea what you did, but you're just present with that person. Being able to then let go of control within the confines that feel safe to me, with rules I've created around, things being real and not being real. That was like a very meaningful loop, of getting to make the film on my own terms. There's a version of the film that was devastating to make because I didn't get to make it how I wanted to make it. And I luckily got to make the film I wanted to make it about the thing that feels so out of control. And that is, I'm still processing that.
Well, thank you, Ava. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Yay.